The most terrifying witch woman by zodiac sign. Who is she? The woman whose gaze can rob you of sleep, whose words burn your soul, and whose energy inspires both fear and admiration. The most powerful witch among all the zodiac signs exists, and her nature combines mystery, power, and danger. This is not fiction, but a special astrological mark that makes her destiny truly frightening and majestic. Today we will reveal under which sign women are born, whose dark power and inner authority turn them into the most terrifying and powerful witches. This knowledge is important not only to understand them, but also to realize why it is impossible to remain indifferent around them. Watch closely, because in a moment you will learn the name of the most terrifying and at the same time majestic female archetype. Subscribe to the channel if you want to discover the secret sides of the zodiac signs and not miss the most powerful esoteric revelations. Write in the comments, which sign do you think hides the most terrifying witch? Your answer may coincide with the truth. Let's start revealing the secret right now. The first sign is Virgo. Virgo is always perceived as a sign of reason and control, but in its dark incarnation, a woman is born who can be called the most terrifying witch. In her hands, any detail becomes a tool of power. She sees people's weaknesses as if she can see through them and uses this knowledge coldly and methodically. She has no chaotic emotional outbursts. Her strength is based on discipline and the ability to wait. Where other witches act fiercely, she acts with surgical precision. Virgo gathers facts, observes, forms a plan in her head, and at the right moment, presses on the only point, after which the entire enemy collapses. This woman does not look frightening on the outside, and that is what makes her dangerous. She may be refined, calm, reserved, even pleasant to talk to, but behind this facade lies a cold system of analysis. She notices every word, every movement, every intonation, and as soon as a person reveals even the slightest vulnerability, she commits it to memory so that she can use it as leverage in the future. Such a witch does not use magic in the usual sense. Her tools are her mind, critical thinking, and rigid logic. If Virgo decides that someone is a threat or does not deserve her trust, that person is doomed. She does not make a scene or curse aloud, but her energy is directed toward creating circumstances in which the enemy destroys themselves. She is a master of subtle manipulation, always acting in such a way that no one can directly accuse her of malice. That is why it is so frightening to encounter her. It is impossible to prove her involvement, but the result is obvious. Over the years, her power has grown. The fortune-telling Virgo is constantly learning, gathering new knowledge, analyzing old mistakes, and turning them into weapons. She is capable of turning a simple everyday detail into a symbolic instrument of influence. Words spoken in passing become a magical key for her, which she will use in the future. And no one will even understand when exactly they fell into her trap. Her cruelty is not in aggression, but in cold isolation. Virgo can erase a person from her life as if they never existed, and this is more destructive than any curse. Those who have fallen under her invisible punishment describe a feeling of emptiness, as if the ground beneath their feet has disappeared. It is not a storm or a fire, but a scorched field where nothing grows anymore. The most terrifying Virgo witch does not scream, threaten, or demonstrate her power. Her power manifests itself in complete control over circumstances. She calculates every step in advance and brings the matter to the point where her opponent is defenseless and vulnerable, without even realizing that the entire scenario was written by her. And in this invisible cruelty lies her true horror. Her eyes are the mirror of her power. Virgo's gaze can destroy confidence, make a person doubt themselves, and this doubt grows into self-destruction. She seems to instill a virus of doubt in her victim, which gradually eats away at them from within. People around her can lose faith in their ideas, ruin their own plans, and give up on victories without even realizing that it was her cold control that caused it. The Virgo witch never acts for pleasure. Her dark power is always subordinate to a goal. She does not waste energy. Her every move has meaning. Her every word carries strategic weight. This is her frightening characteristic. You cannot feel free around her because every action has already been taken into account, analyzed, and turned into a potential tool of influence. If a rival or enemy appears in her life, she destroys them not through open combat, but through silent erasure, systematically bringing them to a state where they surrender themselves. No one sees this process, but everyone feels the consequences. Society fears her precisely because of her ability to control destinies unnoticed, depriving others of their freedom of choice. This witch creates a world where there are no accidents. Everything is calculated in advance, thought out, devoid of spontaneity. She turns her surroundings into a chessboard and people into pieces that she controls. Her cold calm is more frightening than any curse. Where other witches wave their spells, Virgo smiles and quietly watches as her opponent steps closer to their own demise on a path laid out by her own hands. The second sign is Aries. The fiery woman of this sign turns into a witch whose power is more terrifying than any weapon. She does not wait or analyze every detail like others. Her method is a direct strike. She acts instantly, leaving her enemy not even a second to defend themselves. Her energy is such that the air around her seems to fill with tension that takes people's breath away. She burns up space with her will, and anyone who decides to stand in her way feels this power instantly. The Aries witch does not hide behind masks. She is open in her fury. She is capable of turning any emotion into a fiery stream that sweeps away everything around her. Her frightening feature is that she knows no bounds. Once she has decided to act, it is impossible to stop her. This witch goes all the way, regardless of the consequences, and therein lies her destructive power. She breaks down barriers, severs ties, and destroys obstacles as easily as she breaks other people's will. Her voice sounds like an order that cannot be ignored. She inspires fear not with threats, but with the power of her confidence. People around her often feel that their own energy is suppressed, that they are losing their ability to resist. The Aries witch rules openly and unabashedly, her presence turning even the bravest people into submissive ones. When she directs her power against an enemy, it looks like instant destruction. She leaves no traces for a long investigation. Her onslaught is as bright as an explosion. Those who encounter her feel that the world is collapsing right here and now, under the pressure of her unbridled fire. And the most frightening thing is that she does not need to prepare for long. Her power lies in spontaneity, in a swift decision that turns into action before others have time to understand what is happening. The Aries woman witch possesses a power that knows no mercy. She does not give in. She does not give second chances. Her attack is final. Her opponents remain charred shadows of their own will, while she moves on like a storm that knows no fatigue. This is not a hidden threat. It is an open catastrophe, and that is what makes her so terrifying. The third sign is Pisces. The Pisces woman does not have the gentleness that is usually attributed to this sign. Behind her calm gaze lies a power capable of destroying any obstacle. She acts without unnecessary fuss. Her weapon is the ability to see the weaknesses of others and turn them to her advantage. When a Pisces woman takes on the role of a witch, she becomes the embodiment of predatory silence. Her presence is felt even when she is silent, because her every thought turns into action. She does not show aggression openly, but those who find themselves nearby begin to feel a growing pressure, as if someone is imperceptibly squeezing the space around them. Her frightening power lies in her ability to penetrate deep inside. She dissects a person layer by layer, sees what they are hiding, and this knowledge becomes her sharpest blade. No mask can withstand her gaze. She ruthlessly finds what remains a secret to others and uses this information to control and subjugate. People find themselves defenseless before her because it is impossible to fight against her knowledge. The danger of such a woman lies in her flexibility. She knows how to be soft and friendly when necessary, but it is this feigned kindness that becomes a trap. Those who trust her are already bound by her invisible web. She knows how to create an atmosphere of trust around herself, and then she turns the situation around, taking everything she considers necessary. She does not raise her voice or make a scene, but her words cut sharper than any blade. A single remark from her can throw a person off balance. A single action can destroy an entire system. And therein lies the true horror. Her victories are achieved quietly, but the consequences are irreversible. A special feature of a Pisces woman in the role of a witch is her ability to control other people's emotions. She plays on fears and desires, creates the illusion of closeness, and then turns that closeness into a tool of control. The people around her feel that they are trapped, but cannot find a way out. The more they try to break free, the more bound they become. The strength of Pisces women lies in the fact that they do not need overt demonstrations. A single glance is enough for them to freeze their opponent's initiative. Their silence is more eloquent than a scream, and their detachment is more frightening than rage. This type of witch is the most frightening precisely because she is impossible to predict. She does not engage in open conflict, but slowly and inevitably destroys the foundations. And when her presence completely fills the space, there is only one feeling left: that there is a woman nearby whose power is more frightening than any weapon because it is invisible and therefore inevitable. The fourth sign is Scorpio. The darkest aspect of this sign gives birth to a witch whose power frightens even those who are accustomed to danger. She has neither fiery spontaneity nor cold calculation. Her nature is deeper, darker, and incomprehensibly sharper. She combines passion with cruelty, and this makes her truly terrifying. She penetrates a person's consciousness, destroying them from within, and no one can resist her influence. This witch has mastered the art of controlling other people's secrets. She seems to sense every hidden thought, every desire that people don't dare to voice. Her power lies in bringing out the most vulnerable aspects of a person, forcing them to face their fears head-on. She does not break them with an open blow. She slowly penetrates their soul until her influence becomes absolute. The Scorpio woman inspires terror with her unwavering determination. Once she has chosen a goal, nothing can distract her. She goes all the way, turning other people's lives into a field of constant tension. She knows how to deprive her enemy of peace even when she is silent. Her silence itself becomes pressure that forces people to make mistakes, give up their positions, and lose themselves. Her gaze is like a deadly weapon. It penetrates so deeply that her interlocutor feels exposed, as if all masks have been removed. At that moment, it becomes clear that there is no hiding. A witch of this sign knows how to use what has been revealed. She turns other people's weaknesses into a weapon of revenge, and does so with frightening accuracy. Scorpio does not waste her energy on trifles. She saves it, waiting for the right moment, and when it comes, her actions become irreversible. She is like a poison that does not manifest itself for a long time, but once it starts to work, it completely paralyzes the victim. This is where her horror lies. It is impossible to escape her because her influence has already penetrated inside. The most terrifying Scorpio witch does not need loud rituals or demonstrations of power. Her weapons are silence, her gaze, and her inner power over the emotions of others. She is capable of inducing an obsessive fear in a person that will eat away at them until they are completely destroyed. The power of this woman is not immediately apparent, but by the time you realize her influence, it is too late. The fifth sign is Capricorn. A Capricorn woman, appearing in the guise of a witch, leaves no doubt about her dangerousness. Her power is immediately apparent. She does not hide behind masks or conceal her intentions. She possesses a cold confidence that suppresses the will of those around her. Unlike others, her threat is open and tangible, like an icy wall that cannot be bypassed. She builds a structure around herself where every detail is subject to her rules, and anyone who breaks these rules faces her ruthless determination. The most frightening thing about such a woman is her calculation. She never acts spontaneously. Her every word and action is measured, like hammer blows on stone. She knows how long to wait and when to strike the final blow. Her harshness is not impulsive, it is strategic, and that is what makes her truly terrifying. An enemy can hope for chance, for a mistake, but she makes no mistakes. A Capricorn woman does not destroy emotionally like others. She breaks through the system. She turns other people's weaknesses into a mechanism of control. Where others act in the moment, she creates long-term structures that are impossible to get rid of. Once in her power, a person feels as if they are in an iron vice, and this vice tightens more and more every day. She does not seduce or play games. Her strength lies in her directness. She makes no secret of her desire for power and control, and she achieves this without hesitation. This type of witch inspires fear not with illusion, but with reality, where her decisions are indisputable. She does not threaten with words. She creates conditions in which others simply have no choice. Her gaze conveys not emotion, but cold calculation. She sees everyone as part of a larger scheme, and if an element does not fit into her picture, she ruthlessly removes it. This straightforward cruelty, devoid of chaos and emotion, makes her more frightening than many. She does not give in to persuasion, does not obey her feelings, and does not change her decisions. The danger of a Capricorn woman lies in her steadfastness. She does not fall even when everything around her collapses. For her, defeat is just a stage, after which she returns even stronger. And the people who once tried to stop her realize that they only made things worse. Her strength doubles with every obstacle. The power of such a woman feels inevitable. She leaves no room for resistance, and this is precisely where her frightening superiority lies. She turns the world around her into a structure where she is always at the center. It is pointless to resist this force because she shows no weakness, no hesitation, and always sees things through to the end.